According to Martin and Nakayama, in cultural communication and context, culture is defined as learned patterns of behavior and attitudes shared by a group of people. Culture is more than merely one aspect of the practice of intercultural communication. How we think about culture frames our ideas and perceptions. Culture can be a way that people participate in or resist society's structure. Culture becomes a collective experience because it is shared with people who live in and experience the same social environments.
Many different kinds of histories influence our understanding of who we are, as individuals, as family members, as members of cultural groups, and as citizens of a nation. Identifying the various forms of historical context is the first step in understanding how history affects communication. For this project, we wanted to focus on understanding family histories and cultural group histories. Family histories are histories of individual families that are typically passed down through oral stories. Cultural groups are histories of each cultural group within a nation that includes, for example, the history of where the group originated, why the people migrated, and how they came to develop and maintain their cultural traits.
Michaela and I have similar cultural group histories. However, our The cultural tradition I carry on from my family is wearing the Irish clotter ring. When I was 6 years old, the Tooth Fairy gave me a special gift that I still wear to this day. This special gift has been a tradition that has been passed down through generations of my family. The clotta is an Irish symbol that represents love, loyalty, and friendship. The symbol is designed with two hands, which symbolizes friendship, holding a heart, which means love, and a crown on top that means loyalty. The history of the clotta all started back in the 17th century during the reign of Mary II in a Galloway town called Clotta, Ireland. A young Irishman named Richard Joyce was destined to the West Indian slave plantations. During his journey, he was kidnapped by Mediterranean pirates and later sold to a Moorish goldsmith. In 1689, King William III negotiated the return of slaves and Joyce returned. Meanwhile, back in Ireland, a woman had never stopped waiting for her true love to return. Joyce presented her with the clotter ring he made to symbolize their enduring love, with two hands to represent their friendship, the crown to signify their loyalty and lasting fidelity, and the sign of the heart to symbolize their eternal love for each other. They soon married, never to be separated again.
Every Christmas Eve, my family and I go to my grandparents' house for dinner. After Secret Santa exchanges between the cousins, we all sit down for a big seafood dinner that my grandfather prepared. I never understood why he prepared this until I asked him and discovered the significance and history behind it all. In Italy, culture and cuisine are so closely interconnected. Religion is the center of most families' lives and practices, so the tradition of cooking seafood roots on Christmas Eve from the Catholic Church. Up until recently, the Catholic Church had a requirement to fast and abstain from eating meat on Christmas Eve, similar to the requirement during Lent. The Italian culture observed the requirement and, based on their location, would find appropriate alternatives. Depending on location, the meals cooked that evening would differ. Countryside towns would eat vegetables or even various non-meat pastas and raviolis, while towns along the coast would eat fish. Seeing as Ischia is located on the southern coast of Italy, fish was an easy substitution families could incorporate into their meals. My grandfather's grandfather, Francesco Matera, left Ischia in 1917 and brought this tradition with him. My grandfather learned to cook these plates from his mother and continues to cook it every Christmas Eve. Plates include polenta and octopus, as well as fish-based sauces for pastas and raviolis. One of the biggest dishes my grandfather cooks on Christmas Eve is ciuppino, a stew-type dish made of broth containing a variety of different types of seafood, such as shrimp, mussels, and clams. Since Christmas Eve is a winter holiday, many types of shellfish are accessible due to the low winter tides, allowing the tradition of this dinner and plate to continue and survive and be passed on.
While we have different traditions and family histories, both our traditions revolve around the importance of family bonds through many
As we get older, we plan to educate our families on the significance and importance of our family backgrounds.
Through having first-hand experience through our Rupe engagements, Michaela and I both have immersed within different culture than ours, which has allowed us to understand and learn about other cultures other cultures' practice and traditions. For example, during my time at Escuela Popular, I've become closer to Maria, whose name has been changed due to privacy reasons. As we've spent more time together, she has opened up and shared some other family traditions. One thing Maria mentioned was how she's been busy balancing school and her daughter's upcoming quinceañera. Curious and wanting to know more, I wanted to research the importance of a quinceañera and learn more about the tradition her family and the Mexican culture participates in. One of the most important celebrations in the Mexican culture is the tradition of the quinceañera. This constitutes a ceremony on a girl's 15th birthday to mark her passage to womanhood, to give thanks to God for his blessings, and to present a young woman to the community. From an Anglo perspective, the festival would seem a combination of a Sweet 16 birthday party combined with the coming out ball for debutantes. In Mexican communities, the quinceañera serves not only to honor the young woman for her maturity, but also the girl's parents, family, as well as her padrinos or godparents. The godparents and her mother and father play an important role throughout the ceremonies. People of Mexican descent, both here in the United States as well as Mexico, are mindful of their rich inheritance. Traditions and festivals are an important observance for families and the entire community. The quinceañera for a girl's 15th birthday is among the most meaningful and beautiful occasions, one that is anticipated with much happiness and remembered fondly by everyone involved. It is also among the more distinctive festivals marking Mexican culture. Looking back at Maria's cultural tradition of the quinceañera, there are restrictions that her daughter cannot participate in until she has reached the age of 15, such as a great amount of responsibility and the title of being a woman. Maria says that most Mexican Americans still try to uphold the customs and traditions of a quinceañera today in America. Seeing the similarities and differences between Maria's cultural practice and mine, both represent the symbolic significance of coming of age.
My time at Escuela Popular, it was Cinco de Mayo. I asked Rosa, whose name has been changed for privacy reasons, if she was celebrating it. She replied no, explaining how Cinco de Mayo has become more of an American celebration rather than something celebrated in her culture. I asked her the significance of this day, and she explained to me how many people think it is because of Mexico's Independence Day, when it's not. The day is observed to commemorate the Mexican Army's unlikely victory over French forces at the Battle of Puebla on May 5, 1862. Mexico's Independence Day, Rosa explained, is September 16th. She said they celebrate that in a bigger, more elaborate way. The Mexican War of Independence was an armed conflict and the culmination of a political and social process which ended the rule of Spain. Each year, on the night of September 15th at around 11 in the evening, the President of Mexico rings the bell of the National Palace in Mexico City. After the ringing of the bell, he repeats a shout of patriotism based upon the Grito de Dolores with the names of important heroes of the Mexican War of Independence who were there on that very historical moment. The following day, September 16th, is Independence Day in Mexico and is considered a patriotic holiday. This day is marked by parades, patriotic programs, drum and marching band competitions, and special programs on the national and local media outlets. Reflecting back on my experience, I realized that Rosa and my cultural practice has some similarities and differences. Cinco de Mayo is commonly mistaken for the wrong holiday, and Chupino, a tradition started due to a religious holiday, is now served frequently in many Italian restaurants. Both these instances devalue the original meaning behind the traditions due to the American culture. While our traditions differ, they are similar due to their symbolic meaning and value within our families and cultures. They are both celebrated in an elaborate way and are an important part of our family histories.